This chapter is a continuation of the previous chapter where you learn to group things. In this chapter, you will learn to separate components of mixtures. In nature, very few substances occur in their pure form. Most of the substances are found mixed with other substances. To obtain pure substances, we need to separate these mixtures. We use many methods to do this, depending on the difference in the properties of these substances. Pure substance. Any substance which is made up of only one kind of particles is called a pure substance. For example, iron, silver, water, oxygen are pure substances. Mixture. When two or more pure substances are mixed together in such a way that each component retain its properties, we call it a mixture. For example, 1. Air is a mixture of many gases, dust particles, and water vapors. 2. Sugar solution is a mixture of sugar and water. 3. Brass is a mixture of copper and zinc. The amount of each component in a mixture can vary. Need for separation. Perhaps you eat namkeens or mixtures containing groundnuts. Some of you who like groundnuts would pick them out and eat them first. Those of you who don't like them would still pick them out and keep them separately. In both the cases, you are separating one component from a mixture to make it more suitable to your taste. A mixture may contain two or more substances in any ratio. These substances are called components of a mixture. We may need to separate components of a mixture for various reasons, such as 1. To remove the undesirable or harmful components, for example, small pieces of stones and unwanted seed grains are removed from rice and pulses before cooking. 2. To remove the impurities as to obtain pure sample of a substance. Pure substances are needed in medicines, research, industries, and also in daily use. 3. To separate useful components of a mixture so that each component can be properly used. For example, petrol, diesel, kerosene, etc. are all useful components of crude petroleum and need to be separated. Methods of separation. The components of a mixture can be separated by simple physical methods. The choice of method is based on the differences in properties of the components of the mixture. To choose a suitable method for separation, we should find a property of the component to be separated, which is different from that of the other components. 1. Hand picking. You must have noticed or mother picking up small pieces of stones, husk, or chaff from rice and dal before cooking them. This method of cleaning food is called hand picking. It is used when the mixture contains solids of different colors, shapes, or sizes. It is used only when the component which has to be separated is present in small quantity. 2. Threshing. You must have been given a bunch of grapes and a bundle of wheat stalk. How will you separate the stalks in both the cases? In the first case, it is easy for you to remove stalks from grapes, but in the second case, wheat seeds are so small that it is not easy to remove their stalks. Then how does a farmer separate the stalks from grain seeds? He uses a method called threshing. The farmer makes bundles of grain stalks and keeps them in the sun to dry up. After that, he beats them against a slab of stone to remove the grains. Nowadays, threshing is done with the help of machines called threshers. 3. Winnowing. After threshing, farmers use this method to remove husk or chaff from grain. Winnowing is based on the property that grains are heavier than husk and hay. This method is used when there is a difference in weights of the components of a mixture. Here, heavier and lighter components are separated by wind or by blowing air. For example, to separate wheat grains from husk and hay, farmers drop the mixture from a height. The lighter husk and hay are carried by the wind and form a heap a small distance away. The wheat grains, being heavier, fall almost vertically to form a separate heap. 4. Sieving. You are well aware of sieving of flour to remove unwanted particles like husk or chaff from it. You might have also seen big slanting sieves at construction sites used to remove pebbles and stones from sand before it is mixed with cement. Are the pores of sieves in both the cases of equal size? Sieving is used when the size of particles of different components of a mixture is different. The choice of sieve depends upon the size of the particles to be separated. Care should be taken that the size of the pores of sieve should be larger than the smaller component and smaller than the larger components. 5. Magnetic separation. This method is used to separate magnetic component of a mixture from non-magnetic components. When a magnet is passed over such a mixture, the magnetic components get stuck to the magnet, whereas the non-magnetic components are left behind. Iron objects can be collected from garbage by using a powerful magnet. 6. Sedimentation and decantation. These methods are used to separate insoluble solids from liquids. It is based on the difference in weights of different components. The settling of heavier particles is called sedimentation, and the process of pouring the upper clear liquid into another container without disturbing the sediments is called decantation. You can also observe this process at home while washing dal, rice, etc. Your mother decants the upper layer of water which contains dust and other impurities. Rice or dal is left as sediment and is then cooked. 7. Filtration. This method is also used for separation of insoluble solid particles from a liquid. It is more suitable if the size of solid particles is very small. In this method, the mixture is allowed to pass through a filter. A filter is a medium with very fine pores. The insoluble solid particles retained by the filter are called residue, and the clear liquid collected is called the filtrate. Commonly used filters are a piece of muslin, mulmal cloth, and filter paper. A layer of cotton or a layer of riverbed sand can also be used as a filter. In filtration, size of the pores of the filter is very important. For good filtration, the pores in the filter should be smaller than the size of the particles to be removed. 8. Evaporation and condensation. The process of conversion of a liquid into its vapor state is called evaporation. In nature, this process takes place slowly, but if we increase the temperature, the process of evaporation becomes faster. A liquid component of a mixture can be separated by evaporating it, leaving the other component behind. The evaporated liquid can be recovered by collecting its vapors and cooling them. The process of conversion of vapors of a substance into its liquid state is called condensation. 9. Centrifugation. The particles which are very small and can easily pass through filter paper can be separated by churning or centrifugation. In this method, the mixture containing suspended particles is rotated at a high speed in a centrifuge machine. The denser particles settles down at the bottom of the container and the lighter ones stay at the top. This method is used to separate cream from milk, butter from curd, water from wet clothes, drying in washing machine. Separation of two immiscible liquids. Oil and water are two liquids which are not miscible with each other. A mixture of oil and water can be separated by using a separating funnel. It is a device having a stopcock at its bottom. The mixture is taken in this funnel. Oil being lighter forms the upper layer. Water being denser forms the lower layer. When the stopcock is opened, the water layer flows out, leaving the oil layer behind. Separation of components of a mixture by using a combination of various methods. Quite often, separation of the constituents of a mixture requires more than one methods of separation. This is illustrated below through a few examples. 1. To separate the constituents of a mixture containing sugar, water, and edible oil. We know that sugar is soluble in water and the solution of sugar in water is immiscible with oil. So, we proceed as follows. Separate the mixture by using a separating funnel. Oil is left behind in the separating funnel and the solution of sugar in water is collected in a beaker. When we heat this solution, water evaporates and forms water vapor which is collected in another beaker through condensation. Sugar is left behind as a white powder. 2. The mixture of rice, salt, and iron fillings can be separated in two steps. Firstly, magnetic separation is carried out to remove the iron fillings. Next, rice and sand can be removed by sieving. 3. A mixture of sand, salt, and water can be separated by using the techniques of filtration, evaporation, and condensation. Can you tell which component will be removed in each step? Solution. A homogeneous mixture of two or more substances is called a solution. The substance which is present in smaller amount is called solute, and the substance present in larger amount is called solvent. Solutions are of two types, saturated and unsaturated. Saturated solution. A solution in which no more solute can be dissolved at a fixed temperature is called a saturated solution. Unsaturated solution. A solution in which some more solute can be dissolved at a fixed temperature is called an unsaturated solution.